So you can picture this. There is John the Baptist in his camel hair coat and his leather belt, preaching by the River Jordan. And people from all over were coming to hear him. Whether they were sinners, they were murderers, or whether they were thieves, or whether they were adulterers, liars, or whether they just felt like they had done something wrong according to God's plan, according to God's will. They streamed out of Judea and out of Jerusalem to hear John the Baptist. To hear from him the idea that God would forgive them, because they knew that they were sinners. Regardless of your definition of sinners, sinners are those that don't do the will of God. And there was a sense of unity amongst them, because they all knew each other on a level that is deeper than others. And every once in a while, somebody moved by the Holy Spirit would step into the Jordan River, bow their head down, and John the Baptist would baptize them. And then they'd come up out of the water and rejoin the community, because that for them was just the beginning of their journey. They knew that amongst the rest of the community, they could feel and get the energy to continue on the journey of forgiveness, to stay away from sin. And so a community gathered around John the Baptist, either because they were about to be baptized or they had just been baptized. But within the community, they helped themselves, they helped each other. And then Jesus appeared and walked through the crowd. Now, nobody knew who Jesus was. Nobody knew he was the Son of God, because this was actually the very beginning of his ministry. But John the Baptist knew. John the Baptist knew almost immediately when he saw Jesus. He recognized Jesus as the one he had kept talking about, the one that was all-powerful, the one he was not even able to untie the thongs of his sandals. Now, according to other gospel writers, when Jesus walked into the water to be baptized, John the Baptist said, "No, I am not worthy to baptize you." But Jesus said, "Yes, baptize me now." Now, if Jesus had had handlers or political consultants or whatever, Jesus would have appeared at the scene, slapped a few backs, shook a few hands, bumped a few elbows, had maybe some photo ops, selfies, whatever. Jesus would have been compassionate and listened to people, but he would not have submitted himself to a baptism. Because by virtue of that humblingness, it was almost as if Jesus was acknowledging he was human like the rest of us. Whether he had sinned or could have sinned, Jesus was saying, "I am one of you." And so John the Baptist baptized him. And if somebody didn't realize who Jesus was before he went under the water, when he came out, this great voice from the sky said, "This is my beloved, with whom I am well pleased." Because the virtue of Jesus' example of humbling himself, of saying, "Yes, I too need to be baptized. I too need and could have sinned. I need to be amongst the sinners to continue my journey." Because the lesson of a good leader, the lesson of a good counselor, the lesson of a good minister is someone who says, "Yes, let me help you. Let me be with you." But the lesson of a great minister, the lesson of a great counselor, teacher, the Son of God was what Jesus did, which was, "I am one of you. I too could have done what you did. I too feel sinful and forgiven. I know what it's like. Whether your sin is anger, whether your sin is murder, whatever it is that sense of being forgiven. Because you know that Jesus has been there, has felt that, has acknowledged that. And isn't it easier to go to someone who you know has had a rough life, who accepts the fact that there are flaws in them, and can say to you, I think I know how you feel. I think I know what it's like. As opposed to a, there, it's okay. There is a sense of power in not forgiving. There is a sense of power when you're angry and not letting it go. And yet that's not what Jesus taught us. This week we heard what will probably happen to Bishop Heather Cook. It's remarkable to me how angry people are. How could she have done that? How dare she? She's a bishop. And yet, how many of us have driven distracted? It may be that you're not texting, but I can remember well handing my son a juice box as he sat in the back seat. Did I see what was going in front of me? No, because I was trying to get him to stop crying. Or when you're trying to get your glasses out from underneath your seat and you're not focusing on where you're going. How many of us have gotten behind the wheel after maybe a couple of drinks? But we feel fine, we feel strong, we can drive. I've noticed recently that the people who don't drive drunk, who are afraid of that, are the people my son's age. The people who don't mind having a couple of wines or whatever and then getting behind the wheel are people our age. We can do it. We're fine. It's a couple of glasses of wine. If we think we can do that, if we acknowledge that, yes, maybe we could be possible that, then we're sort of equalizing ourselves and allowing our anger to escape. Would we have run away if we had hit somebody? God, I hope not. I hope if I ever, please dear God, not, are in a situation like that, I would stop. But there have been times when I have run away from conflict. There have been times when I have chosen flight over fight. There have times when I have said, no. I'm going to disappear to another room, to another state, to another country. There is a sense of compassion when you follow what Jesus did. There is a sense of acceptance. Does it make any difference whether Bishop Cook is guilty or not? It's not us to judge. But it is us to accept the fact that maybe we could have done the same thing. Please, dear God, not. If you're equal with someone else like that, your anger disappears. Your judgment disappears. You can wallow in your pain. You can wallow in your anger. You can wallow in how dare he or she. But that's not the model that Jesus taught us. The model is, I could have done that too. And I too am a sinner. When Jesus was baptized, he started a very long journey. When we are baptized, we start that journey too. And over and over and over again, we continue that journey together. One of the greatest things about St. Margaret's is the fact that we are all here together and we welcome newcomers, old-timers, anybody else, because we know that we are all sinners together. We're all on this journey together. And just because you're an old-timer doesn't mean that you are what? Sinless? And can't accept new people? Or just because you're new doesn't mean whatever? We are all on this journey together. One of the things about the old prayer book that people cling to was the fact that our confession was not public. The new confession brought in the word we. I actually heard someone that I deeply respect say, well, I won't do that. I sit down during the confession because I don't sin. But we do. We stand and say the baptismal covenant in hopes that it will propel us again down into the journey as we go for wholeness in our lives. We accept everyone and stand and say the confession together, starting with the words, we. Because we want to model what Jesus did, which is to humble ourselves and say, we are in this together. And as a community, we will strive to forgive each other. We will strive to understand each other. We will let our anger go. Because one day we would like the sky to open for us and hear the words, you are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Amen?